Joining me is Peter Rowan, who's going to be at the Thrasher Opera House in Green Lake this Friday night with members of his band. And Peter, you're probably getting ready to go someplace, right?
I'm just getting ready to hit the road here with the Los Texmaniacs, my Free Mexican Air Force band out of San Antonio, Texas.
All right. What can people expect to hear from you on Friday night?
Well, we'll do a lot of my standard tunes, Panama Red, Midnight Moonlight, Land of the Navajo. But really this collaboration with Los Texmaniacs is, I get to indulge in my love for Latin music, I guess, but really it's a Hispanic tradition from South Texas. Years ago I recorded with a man named Flaco Jimenez, an accordion giant, and so we actually end up doing a lot of things that I think are played up in the upper Midwest. We do a lot of polkas, but wapongos especially, and boleros. Those wonderful rhythms of the Latin music tradition as it came down through Texas. And for me, my romantic side comes out more. I think love songs are especially powerful when they're in this Latino-tinged tradition. The Spanish language is such a beautiful medium for poetry. And, of course, Los Texmaniacs themselves, they play all this wonderful traditional northern Mexico, southern Texas music with the, Germanic influence, too, from the accordion. The accordion player is named Max Baca, plays the bajo sexto, and his cousin Josh Baca plays the accordion. And as an accordion player, he's probably the best you're going to hear. He's not even 30 yet, and he just plays great accordion. There's a lot of musicality to what we do, and because they're a band unto themselves, Los Texmaniacs, they give me tremendous amount of support. So my job is really easy, and I always look forward to playing with them.
Okay, tell us about one of your popular songs, The Free Mexican Air Force.
The Free Mexican Air Force is a song that I wrote. Years ago, I recorded it with Flaco Jimenez. Back in 78, actually, down in South Texas, at a little place called Zaz Studios. I went down there because I just loved the music and the culture, and I ended up recording with Flaco Jimenez. And over the years, a young fellow started to play with Flaco named Max Baca. And Max is the leader of Los Texmaniacs now. And a few years ago, they invited me down to Texas to tour with them and Flaco. And we just started to collaborate, and also I would run into them at folk festivals. And it was interesting to see how Max had carried the tradition on. And it's so happily, upon their his invitation for me to join them in Texas, I started to, get involved with them again. And when we play the bigger festivals like Telluride and Merlefest and, even quite a few bluegrass festivals actually are really have opened up their ears. And we've played in bluegrass festivals as well. I am a bluegrass musician, and we just played a festival over in Winona called Boats and Bluegrass. Played that with my bluegrass band, and then we recorded over there in Minneapolis at a nice little studio over there. And when we finish this tour of the Midwest, I'm going to go back and finish mixing my bluegrass record. So yeah, I worked with Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys in the 1960s, and I was a member of that band and have always carried that tradition on. So there's so many deep musical connections between all these musics. It's really wonderful to have a chance to celebrate them again.
I'm talking with Peter Rowan, who's going to be at the Thrasher Opera House in Green Lake this Friday night. The performance starts at 7:30. The doors open at 6:45. Your bio said you worked with Jerry Garcia. What was that like?
Working with Jerry was great. It was at a time when he was, let's say, of course, he was always the captain of the ship of the Grateful Dead, but he had also been working on his own career. And Jerry Garcia's direction as a solo artist was always very interesting. The Grateful Dead, they were like a giant organization, well, a small but very intense organization of their own, with their own direction, and all the members were equal in the Grateful Dead. But when Jerry Garcia had a chance to be on his own, like when he did his own records, he recorded 2 of my songs. He performed Midnight Moonlight at all his shows when he was out playing live, and he recorded a song of mine called Mississippi Moon. And this was on his first solo record called Garcia. And that was Jerry Garcia's first solo record. But while he was exploring his solo direction, myself and David Grisman were living nearby out in Stinson Beach, California. And Grisman had produced my 2 brothers, the Rowan brothers. And I was reunited with David from our bluegrass tradition. We had also had a band called Earth Opera together back east. And he was friends with Jerry, and so we went up and started jamming at Jerry's house. And one day Jerry said, let's be a band. Let's call ourselves Old and In the Way, which is a perfect Garcia title, right?
Right.
There was no barrier to the type of musical compositions and songs that we could bring in. Jerry was a champion of my songwriting, which was really a wonderful thing to have in a band, because he understood the roots of where my songs came from. That helped, that helped give me some confidence. And of course, Jerry named us Old and In the Way.
Those sounded like great times. You've been in Wisconsin, but you've never played at the Thrasher Opera House. It is a great venue. You're going to love it.
I can't wait. One thing about the upper Northwest is people are really, really into their music. And I've never been to the Thrasher Opera House. Yeah, I'm looking forward to being there.
Peter, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope you have a great turnout Friday night at the Thrasher Opera House.
Thanks, Wayne.
Peter Rowan is at the Thrasher Opera House in Green Lake this Friday night. The doors open at 6:45, and the show starts at 7:30. Tickets are available. Go online or call the Thrasher at 920-294-4279.